So in light of all of the like data and reveals for Marathon, it's reignited a discussion in a lot of gaming communities, specifically around proximity chat. Okay. And, they've basically what they've said is that they are not actively, like currently, they do not have proximity chat in Marathon because it is too toxic. And I've heard other companies say similar things where they're like, yeah, we don't want to do that. It's just too toxic because you get the people that like hop on and they just scream stuff. Or you also have the thing in all games that have team chat where like one dude is listening for some reason to really loud music on a separate speaker that's blaring through his chat mic he has on for some reason. So you can't understand anything he's saying and it makes the entire chat like unusable. It's inevitably going to happen. But my thing is like gamers are capable. Okay. Like if you don't like that one person has his microphone on while he blasts music, you just mute that guy, right? Like to me, it's not a big deal. But I think the reason why I like the idea of proximity chat in a game like this is because it can actually build on gameplay, which is something I don't think has been talked a lot about. All of this discussion has been tied up in the idea that it's too toxic and that's why it's bad. And there's no upside other than maybe you get funny clips for it, which I can understand. But I do think that there's a lot of gameplay implications, specifically and especially in a game like Marathon, an extraction shooter, that makes prox chat an even better idea. And it's something we brought up to some of the designers. Like I said, I had the opportunity to speak to some people at Bungie, some of the devs, including the game director himself, Joe Ziegler, other people like Lars, who are senior designers and have worked on the game for a long time and have some firm thoughts on it. And it's interesting. Yeah, here it is. I can say that I was at lunch when a senior designer came to our table. All 5 of us players said prox chat would be a great addition, and he said it was something they had talked a lot about internally. So at least it's on the table. And this is true. Multiple devs told me that it was something they had debated a lot because I think they liked the idea. But what do I mean specifically by gameplay implications? Well, in an extraction shooter, it's all about like the risk reward of taking stuff with you in and getting out with high quality items and not losing it in the match by dying. And other teams are also dealing with this frustration too. Even when you get the jump on this team, they might have a really valuable sniper rifle. They don't want to give up. They don't want to lose. And as the game is right now, there's no way of communicating with them or anything. You just kind of have to shoot them and fight with them, and that's it. But just imagine for a second that in this situation, there is proximity chat, meaning I come up to this team and I decide to take a chance, take a risk. And I say into the proximity chat, I say, we have you surrounded. Don't move. We don't want any trouble. We just have to cross through. Let's stand down. Or there's a team off to the north that has extremely valuable loot based on what we're seeing from what they've gathered. Let's team up and take them out and go our separate ways. There's all sorts of weird ways that you can do it. Get shot immediately, yeah. But this is a thing that's happened in Tarkov a lot too, where players will come across each other and they might just decide, I'm going to walk away. Don't shoot me, I won't shoot you. And so you get this weird like moment where you start backing up slowly, watching each other. And the second somebody goes to ADS, they get capped, right? Because you can't trust them at that point. But don't go ADS, walk back slowly. And in Marathon, it would probably be swap to your knife, so you don't have your gun equipped. And let's just back away slowly and move on with our day. Like there's actual gameplay implications for this. There's also been discussions. They didn't confirm anything super they didn't say anything super precise about some of these events I'm going to describe, but it was implied that they were exploring the idea of having certain world events or like world boss type things where there's big androids or something that might come in, or a horde of them, and they're guarding a really valuable treasure. So imagine, in a typical area, there might be 5 NPC type robots that you could fight, but in this area, there's 20, and they're surrounding a really valuable chest, or maybe 2 chests that are super valuable. There's a situation where players might be able to team up together to take that challenge on and they just split the treasure. You take one chest, we take ours, and we move on with our day. We don't kill each other. We just move on and we work together. And maybe somebody betrays the other team. Maybe they try to respectfully do it. But it adds a dynamic. It adds a fold to that, right? It adds a little bit dynamic. And this is something that can build as the community builds too, where you're going to be playing some of these matches. Imagine they've been describing how they want to have a ranked mode. A lot of the time when you go into ranked in these types of games, you're playing similar teams or the same teams even regularly, you know, where you're fighting the same teams 5-6 times throughout the week as you play. And it could get to the point where, you know, this team has a really bad reputation. They say that they're going to help you and then they don't. Or they say they're going to not jump you, but then they do. So we're going to be nice to them. But maybe we have a code word. And when I say, you know, Blackbird, that's when we jump them because they can't be trusted. You know, and so you build like a reputation around those teams once you recognize the usernames and stuff like that. There's all sorts of interesting things that can come from having a proximity chat beyond just getting to say funny, stupid stuff, which I think is where the discussion has just been stuck since this initial announcement, because that's what they've said has prevented them from doing it. The fear of toxicity, which I think is just a really unfortunate reason to cut it out, because the toxicity thing is something that can be fixed quite easily. Because you have a block button, you have a mute button, you're an adult, and even if you're a teenager, you know where those buttons are. You can just turn it off. If Timmy is being super annoying, just mute him, okay? If he's so annoying or he's like screaming horrifying words, you block him. And a lot of these online games, I think Call of Duty even does this now, they will record voice chat on a match-to-match basis, so that if you report somebody for saying something or for putting something in chat or whatever that's like horrible, then they can actually review those logs and then permaban that person. And in a game that's really high stakes like Marathon, people are not going to want to get their accounts banned because you have really valuable loot and gear that you don't want to give up. So I think, you know, you have a pretty strict enforcement policy on, you know, screaming expletives or maybe not expletive, but like, you know what I mean? Like the most horrible words and slurs and stuff that could get somebody kicked off if they were streaming on Twitch or something. You have really strict enforcement policies against that type of thing. And then you just let players regulate it themselves. If they don't like how one person is talking, they've got their microphone on, or as somebody said earlier, they've got the clicky keyboard. Jinx says with the $5 super chat, people with loud mechanical keyboards who use open mic making me want to scream. Yeah. It's like that. If there's somebody like that, you just mute them. You just mute them and move on with your day. You know, it's not that big of a deal. And then probably realistically with a game like this, if you're doing random fills, I probably would just basically block that player so we can't match together again, because I'm like, I don't want to get matched with him again because I've got him muted because he has a bad track record there. So there are ways to do it. I don't know why we have to coddle gamers like they can't handle hearing a bad word and then just blocking the person, you know. And the fact that it's being debated so much internally makes me think that there's some fierce advocates for prox chat at the studio who really, really want it. But there's some, you know, one or two people high up in the chain of command who don't want it for various reasons, and they are holding it up. But I'm hoping the feedback is fierce enough that it actually makes a difference and they listen to it. It's time said on Stadia time. It's Stadia time. They said this, okay. I have a pretty genuine reason for wanting proxy or chat instead of just laughs and dumb moments. And I think this is similar vein to what I described when we were talking to the devs. Marathon is being sold as an extraction shooter where various elements of the match involve fighting AI to unlock puzzles. A dev during an interview even said that some of the encounters and puzzles will feel raid-like. If I encounter another team actively trying to complete one of these secrets, maybe I would like to try and communicate with them and join them to help instead of immediately risking a team fight on site. The only way to do this without some sort of global text chat is by directly communicating verbally with nearby players, because it adds a fold, it adds a dynamic when you can ask somebody a question. We could agree on a truce, fight together to finish the encounter, designate roles like a true live LFG, and share loot before parting ways or turn on each other at the last moment. I genuinely believe the best way to do that is to allow communication between teams. Otherwise, you're hoping that players and people can understand intentions through nonverbal dialogue, which is highly unlikely when people know there will be PvP elements and will be on the edge at all times for any other teams. Teabagging and shaking your gun while you jump can only go so far. I truly hope this feature is genuinely considered. I'd love to barter and join other teams I come across, knowing we can hurt each other, but don't, to achieve a common goal if we choose to. Anything to ease that entry is welcome and needed. Agree 1,000%. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. It's why ultimately, like, I just genuinely don't understand the complaint that, well, it's because some people are toxic. Then mute it, you dumbass. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's pretty easy, you know? Like, just mute it, okay? We've all been in that situation where you hop in a team chat and some dude is just losing his mind and you mute him. Honestly, at one time we were playing Marvel Rivals and there was one guy that was, I forget who was playing, but I think it was a Thing. He played the Thing and he just would charge into situations to like their back rank by their spawn, far away from healers, and he would get killed. And so he started complaining that he wasn't getting the heals he needed when he really just wanted like a pocket mercy, like in Overwatch. He just wanted somebody, like all the healers, to follow him around while he just did, you know, whatever he wanted. And they wouldn't do that. The healers were staying on the point and like focusing on the objective. And so he was just like the quintessential neckbeard loser who just, everything was about him. So we just started to make fun of him and we would, you know, poke fun, poke and prod, because he was really toxic, saying really nasty stuff, you know, like very sexist stuff and everything. You could just tell he's just one of those guys just acting out. So we like shot back and we would poke fun at him. One of the other guys on the team started, like in the text chat, he didn't have his microphone on, but he did put in text chat stuff like, you talk like you smell bad and stuff like that. And the dude shut up and he stopped whining. You know, it hit him a little. He was like, okay, that one was personal. You know, it's always when they stop talking, you know, ooh, that one had a little truth in it. But that's part of the fun of these things. Okay. We're adults. We talk, we give stuff back and forth, you know. It's okay. And if you're really annoyed by that guy, you just mute him. You just mute him. And it's okay. It's okay. So I hope that they are not just going to keep proximity chat out because they have a couple of devs at the studio who have really thin skin and are worried about that type of thing. Because all of these problems can be fixed by just muting the other players if you don't like what they're saying. It's quite simple. You know, but it sounds like we're all largely on the same page. If you don't like it, you turn it off. It's pretty easy. Modern Warfare 2 lobbies are not for the new generation. Well, part of it is that because they've like coddled gamers so much by just turning proximity chat and voice chats off, it's made it so people don't know how to react to it anymore. And it's like more jarring than it should be. Like, oh, that guy is saying stuff to try and like get under your skin. Oh, just mute him. Problem solved. You know, it's really not that big of a deal. It really is not. Oh, I wonder if I still have, no, damn it. It's going to make me log in again. We had some old, back when I would stream Warzone occasionally, we had some funny clips where people were, you know, you get the kill against somebody and they're just totally surprised and you get a really funny proximity chat and it's just entertaining. There was one I still remember. I swear to God, it was like a dad or maybe like an older brother playing Warzone in a team with his son or younger brother who sounded to be like 7, 8 years old or something. And, you know, we got the kill against the older one and we could hear like him trying to encourage the little guy, and it was very sweet and made me feel really bad. So we like let him res. We threw armor plates down and we just left. But it was very sweet. But like that was a moment I still remember years later because of how unique an experience it was. And it wasn't something you could script. It wasn't something that you could plan for. It just happened organically because of proximity chat, you know, and it was great. It was great. They need word of mouth to carry this game. Yeah, and clips and stuff. And I think if players are having unique experiences and they're like, yeah, there was this one time I came across a team and they were working on this world event, but they were struggling. So I offered to help them so long as they didn't jump me. And so I started to help them and we did the world event and we got a ton of amazing loot. and then we went our separate ways. Or maybe then I jumped them because there was only one of them left and I took all his stuff, went straight evil on it. Like, that's a cool, unique encounter and experience you wouldn't have had otherwise, and it wouldn't have been possible without prox chat. I think that is worth a lot more than somebody calling you a poo-poo, like poopy, no pants. Like, I think that's much more valuable. Yeah, look at Repo. Yeah, look at all those games where they just pop off because of those types of clips. It makes a difference.
He took my thing.